Back to Ross Taylor Woodworks. This time we've got a little one-drawer stand, circa 1870 or so. And it's missing the towel bars and backsplash, and also the shelf on the bottom here. Okay, right here you can see the outline of the original brackets, and you can see the nail holes from the original backsplash. And you can see the nail holes where the shelf was nailed down. Now this is a mixed woods piece. It's got a basswood on the top, a cherry drawer front, beech for the legs, and some chestnut on the sides here and the back. So I'm in the process of designing a towel bar and backsplash, and I'll bring you up to speed on where I'm at with that. Okay, first did a full-scale layout, and drew out the top part of the one-drawer stand right here. This is from the turnings up, the square part of the leg, and this is the top right here, which is just a little under a ½ inch thick. So after several go-arounds with this, trying different layouts, different shapes, I finally came up with this. It's going to be about 4 inches in the middle here. And I was playing around with different overhangs here. First started off with about 2.5, and went to 3, and then ended up with about 2 3/4 projection here. Then drew out the front brackets here, and the backsplash all in one. And the tricky thing with this is going to be locating the hole. Make sure the hole is located in the same position on the bracket as the backsplash. So I've got an idea to do that. Okay, now I've got it propped in position so I can get a visual on the proportions. Okay, I cut that out on the bandsaw. Now I'm smoothing out the cut first with the drum sander and then the file. Now I've got it propped in position again. I'm going to take a look at it from all angles and make sure it looks good. And I think it looks good. Let's go ahead. Okay, I've got the pieces milled out for the backsplash and the brackets. Backsplash is ½ inch thick, and I'm using tulip poplar here. Okay, now what I want to do is cut out the shape in the backsplash. So I'm going to take my template, and I've got lines extended here to represent the bottom of the top. So I'm going to line that up with the bottom of the backsplash. Okay, I've got some reference lines coming up representing the edge of the stand. So I'm going to mark that there. Then when I remove the template, I'll just transfer those marks down. And then figure out where the end of this is going to be. I have to draw this by hand. I'm going to mark the overhang. Just going to draw this again. Okay, now first did the layout. I very precisely marked these points here. This is going to be the holes for the towel bars, and I precisely located these on both ends. Now I need that point for a reference, so I'm going to drill a small pilot hole through that mark. Now when I get to marking the holes, I can just reference that mark for the brackets and the backsplash. I'm making a separate template for the brackets, and I use my reference line again for the side of the stand, and marked here and here, and drew a straight line and then reference this bottom of the top, squared a line off there, and then traced most of the shape, and then just drew that in by hand again. Now I'll cut this out and have this as a separate template for the brackets. Okay, I've got that template made. I ended up making a second one. This kind of chipped out right here. There was a knot right there. So now, using the layout as a reference again, once again referencing the bottom of the top here and lining up with the side of the stand. And now I want to reference that hole, so I'm going to clamp this in place and flip it over and drill from the back side. Okay, now I just stuck the drill bit in there. Now we've got that hole precisely located in the bracket and the backsplash. Now on the opposite end I did the same thing. Flip the template over and lined it right up. Okay, now I've got everything mocked up. Just put a single screw in just to hold it for now, just to see what it looks like. And same thing in the back, just a couple of screws to hold it. Looks pretty good. Now I have to make the towel bars to go from here to here. And I'm going to turn those on the lathe. Okay, there's one thing I noted earlier. This top is slightly crooked, and it's going to cause problems as far as making the bars. One side is 13.5, and the other side is a little under 13.25. I think it's going to look kind of strange. So I think I'm going to try to loosen the top and straighten it out a little bit. So I'm just going to take these off again. They're just done with screws, so I can easily put them right back where they were. This is set in a little bit here, and it's flush over here on this side. It's about 1/4 of an inch. That's what I noted when I put the bars on. It was off about 1/4 of an inch. So I think straightening out the top is going to be make the towel bars look better. Everything might look kind of cockeyed. Okay, just very carefully with the mallet, I'm going to try to pop the top loose. Alright, the nails actually pulled through the top, so I'm just going to pull them out and reuse them. Okay, I've got the top re-nailed. And I've got a 1/4 inch here and 1/4 inch right here. I ran into a little bit of trouble on this left side. The nails got a little too close to the edge, and it's split the side here. So I ended up clamping that overnight. Now I've got the brackets back on, and now I'm going to put the backsplash back on. Okay, now I've got 13 and 5/16 on both sides. One towel bar roughly turned. It's a little bit rough. These thin pieces tend to bounce around a little bit, so it gets a little bit rough. So if I've got a double bead in the middle, sweeps down, fattens up, and then you have a tenon on the end. to go into the bracket and the backsplash. Now I'm just stepping back and taking a look at it. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, got turnings done, sanded. And now we're going to drill the holes in the backsplash. I've got the backsplash set up here with the front facing forward here. And I'm going to take my template and line that up. And we want to mark for the holes. And getting that lined up. Then we're going to reference that hole again. And I'm just going to mark. And now I got those holes precisely located. Okay, now here's the bracket, and I mark the back side. And I'm going to take my template for the brackets, line that up. And drill that hole. Just a little mark is all we need. And the left side. Okay, now go to the drill press and we'll drill a 1/2 inch hole.